Wait, how do we do this thing? This is episode 37, I believe, of the Keep It Rolling podcast. I'm
been a
Kyle
while.
Perkins. I'm here with Joey Deal.
Hello.
And it's been a minute, but we are back and we are keeping it rolling.
We are back. I would like for us to be more consistent. It's been, I think, 3 months.
About 3 months. Yeah, we've been consistently.
Our longest hiatus. Let's just say that we did this on purpose.
We did it on purpose. Yeah,
we need a vacation.
We need a vacation. We need a lot of focusing on training. So we've had a lot of competitions, a lot of
It's a lot of stuff going on in general.
new things going on with the school. So we've been focusing on that, and then now we can let you guys know about it. So that's kind of the point of the podcast.
Yeah, our goal. We were just saying right before we started it. We want to try to be as consistent as we can. Like we started exactly a year ago in September.
Okay.
Right? It was October, September. So almost just over a year now.
Yep.
Is like our first episode, and when we decided that we were going to start doing this, and we were really consistent. If we're at how many episodes?
37.
We'll do the math on that.
That's pretty good. That's about
good.
2 a month, 3 a month.
Not too bad.
Yep.
It's that I think that's our goal from now on, is to be as consistent as we can with like 2 episodes, two conversations per month.
And it's it's just another thing we're trying to add to the idea of the school and the gym, and we found a nice rhythm with training and schedules of competitions and stuff. It's just another thing to add into the
regular
schedule stuff. So
and I think what we've done so far in terms of having members on the podcast has been really fun.
Yes.
So we just got to keep doing that too. We got to keep asking people and getting, so if anyone's interested in being on the show, it's just tough. No one wants to ask.
No one wants to ask, but also too, I think we had, this might be another reason for kind of the hiatus. We kind of went through a run of, not everybody, obviously there's way more students, but we went through a good run of, the group of people who were close to us around the gym and had them on the cast, and now we got a new resurgence of students and stuff that we have
some new people. We just need to ask them about the podcast. So you might be wondering why we're dressed the way we are. I mean, we're not super dressed
not
crazy.
super dressed up, but enough
that it might raise some questions,
because it's Halloween today.
I do have a witch's hat on. This is from our Halloween party. And Kyle, you're dressed as a...
Yeah, I think I'm endorsing Soviet Russia, so not my proudest moment, but we got to do what we got to do for Halloween.
He's basically a communist.
Yeah, I'm Irish communist with my green hat.
This is a hat that I actually got for him as a gift from Kazakhstan.
I could appreciate it no more. I'm surprised they sold it in Kazakhstan.
Yeah. I think I got it from Kazakhstan. Maybe I got it from Dubai.
Okay.
No, I got it from Kazakhstan, I think. I don't know. But this is a gift that I got while I was overseas doing a tournament.
World traveler.
And I thought it was so cool. It's got a little,
SS symbol on it?
No, I don't. Not SS. That's Germany.
It's German. Is it German?
That's a pure Russian SSR.
SSR. Yeah, there we go. I forgot the last letter. Yeah.
SS is the Russians. I know that's the Germans.
Yeah, secret police.
So we just finished up training. We had a good hard training session, advanced class. Good group for a Halloween party.
Really good group, and just another day of, I made everyone kind of after class. I don't think it's said enough. I could not appreciate enough the way you organize training and class and stuff like that.
It was very nice of you to say that to them.
I think people need to hear it. They need to appreciate what they're getting.
I'm never gonna say it. I'm not gonna be like, I think that's probably
the best teacher out here.
The most messed up thing a teacher could do is be like, you guys better be grateful. You guys are spoiled.
Well, then I'm just saying, Joey, do not come when I teach at 6 a.m. That's about 30 minutes of class.
Kyle's first 20 minutes is introduction of, you guys are welcome.
They all bow. They give me respect,
We're going to bow again.
Bow to your sensei.
That was very nice of you. I think everyone is pretty grateful. I think everyone is, we have a good group of people who are appreciative. Because that's all it is like gratitude for, if you enjoy jiu-jitsu and you feel like you are getting better, then how you're not, you're going to be grateful.
And appreciation through, like giving back a little bit just through like hard training and stuff. Like I'm really loving how much very quietly Colton and Carlos come in and just, they beat each other up and find other people to kind of drag into this little bit harder training. And, it's very, very impressive.
And even taking their own time after study sessions, they'll do another 30 minutes on their own. I can see that they're practicing some stuff specific.
And it's not to impress anybody.
Yeah, and like you and I both, we're pretty good about this, where I'll just sit and watch, and I don't want to interrupt because I can tell that they have something they want to do. But then I can see like almost like a question brewing, and like they'll look at us, or like I think it was Monday night or Wednesday night. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But one of these nights, it was probably Monday night. they were working some stand up stuff, and I could see there was like an idea, and like they both kind of looked at me, and it felt like an invitation. And I was like, here's an idea, try this, and then yesterday when I was leaving,
he's doing the same thing.
They were drilling those little like arm drag ideas that I was showing. So it was really cool. I love that, man. That's like, it brings me back to a time when I was like younger in jiu-jitsu, and like I know same thing for you. But like when everything was so exciting and I'm still excited, like I still feel the same way. I don't feel like it's gotten boring to me at all. But there's still such a special feeling when everything feels untouched. Mm-hmm. And like, you remember like grabbing your buddies, like for me it was like Tim. Yeah, like I would go to Tim's house, or even in my basement, or like not my basement, his basement, or my living room when we were watching the UFC. And I'd be like, hey, let me try this move. Let's try this. So I get really excited when I see people get excited about jiu-jitsu again. It lets me relive it.
The enthusiasm.
Yeah, the youngness of it all. So that's cool. Yeah, training was good. What do you think? Who'd you train with?
Yeah, it was a good hard training session. I trained with Ian today. I was telling everyone I felt bad. He off-balanced me and I elbowed him in the eye, so I felt bad about that.
Did you do it on purpose? Or
no,
what?
Not at all. I was trying to stand up and he off-balanced me and I went to put my hands on the floor and just elbowed him right in the eye.
So you did it on purpose.
Yeah. But I didn't know it wasn't too bad. And then 30 minutes into class, we went to do another guard round. And I looked down his eye. I was all swollen. I'm sorry, dude. But he's tough, man. Super scrappy.
I'm just going to say Ian, he did that to himself.
He's a bag of wrenches, yeah. But yeah, good training with him. And just one of the reasons I brought it up to everyone was just without any real demand of it, the direction of the training made me practice all the stuff that we've been learning over the past few weeks, and I really appreciate that. That's just super beneficial.
Stuff that I don't think you would naturally do, right?
No.
So like you wouldn't have, if you were in complete control of your training, it probably wouldn't have came up.
Nope.
We focused on some different ideas for the guard that maybe isn't your favorite part of the game, but like then you start realizing there's more to it. And I think it's just that's I forget who I was saying that to this week, but it was something along the lines of our goal from a curriculum standpoint is to force you to be well-rounded. Even if you don't like it, you're still going to be knowledgeable in every scenario. And so I think that's been pretty well accomplished over the last couple of years as we gotten into this style of training.
Yep.
Which has been study sessions versus training sessions.
Yeah.
There's our advanced class is a training session. It's not a study session. Of course, everything is a study, everything is training, but it's like when you put that division, it's nice. Like tonight was a little smaller group for our study session at 6 because of Halloween and stuff. I think a lot of dads and moms had to
take their kids out. It was super windy. They didn't want their kids to blow away.
Yeah. So, it was a little smaller, but like the study sessions have been really consistent, and that's really great. In the way that we're doing it, I think it's definitely doesn't feel like a chore.
Yeah.
You come in and we play some games and you learn, and that you're getting a workout still, but then now we can actually have more of a lecture-based education.
There are very few people that just come to the advanced class, the training session class. There's very few people that do that. And the main people that do that, it's not because they don't want to do the technical class. It's literally a schedule thing, and that's very, most schools, most places, we've trained, if people are advanced belts, they only come to the training sessions. They do not come to the study sessions.
They don't feel like they're going to learn anything.
Yeah.
Because maybe they don't. Right? Yeah. Maybe they are already kind of graduated through that, whatever that curriculum is, right?
Yeah.
Which is, I don't think how any jiu-jitsu curriculum really should work. It shouldn't, maybe there's some argument for it of like a basics, not fundamental, but a basics class that you could just kind of graduate through. I think you were talking to me the other day about it.
Yeah.
Like noticing like little things like just even a terminology of like a break fall and like things like that. And of course that's what most basics classes are.
Yeah. But I think you kind of established that, and I think we did fade away from it a little bit, but I really like that when you were doing that idea of like those, I don't know how many, but like those movements for to get your first stripe was this little like movement test. I thought that was great. I know I wasn't here as much for that, but that was a really cool.
We started with that concept, and it played out pretty well in terms of like who went through it. But at the same time, it was just like anything else. It's just a homework assignment then, right? So if I tell you this is what I need you to like know, how do we guarantee that we're going to show them that in the first 25 classes of
yes.
So it's kind of a weird thing if we don't have a curriculum in place that is a guarantee that they're going to see those things. It just becomes a homework assignment, which
Yeah.
I don't really know if I like that idea too much. So that was the dilemma in my brain of like, do I mandate something that I don't know if I'm going to be able to show them within the time frame?
Yeah.
Just doesn't really feel right. Where I just know they're gonna get exposed to these things. I think it's certainly there's a desire to have that like, I would like everyone when they first start to learn these things quicker.
Yes.
When it comes to movements, we're talking about like just your fundamental movements of break, fall, stand, and base, and shrimping. And,
Yep.
But at the end of the day, it's like I'm not going to waste
They're going to
the
get
majority
those.
of the time of a class where we have very valuable time, like seconds down to like the seconds of what we want to teach.
All of those
Don't wanna
movements are
waste
the
it.
building blocks of the moves. So if you like do the
moves are
moves,
there.
you've done
Yeah.
those movements. So like, how could you not?
And so far, that experiment of teaching those less and showing them more versus letting them explore it versus like trying to teach them it, I'm pretty happy with the results so far.
Yeah,
the last year and a half of
I've
that.
never seen
Since 2023, I would say.
I've never seen a physical example of it where it was very obvious to me. Like I've never seen someone get thrown to the ground and not break fall.
Right.
But I have the one time the reason I brought it up to was someone did ask me, like I said it to you.
Like,
someone looked at me and went like, "Why do you guys smack the ground every time you fall down?" And I was like, "Oh, that's not. He should know that. You
should know what that's called.
But he
What
kind
is
of
that?
already did it. So then like it's not. I guess it's not a negative if you
It's
don't.
not. Yeah. I mean, they do figure this stuff out
Mm-hmm.
pretty organically. From a safety perspective, it's been very our track record's pretty good. You know what I'm saying? We
Yeah.
haven't had any injuries from and that would be some people's argument on why there should be a basics class.
Mm-hmm.
Is like you keep all those crazy savages in one place.
Yeah.
It's like
Until they're not.
they but that's not so much the case. That's more of a cultural problem with your
Yes.
class. So as long as we continue to talk about how we're doing the games and how we're doing the training exercises, and we talk about intensity and be able to
I had one of those talks this morning.
yeah, you
and
have
it helped
to.
a lot.
Yeah. And we just got to keep bringing that up every once in a while. I know it gets redundant, but it still has to be said over and over. And then the other issue that we have is just partnering people up correctly.
Mhm.
As long as you can get more experienced people with more beginners, when you get two people who both don't know what's going on, that can be a little more challenging. But then even just someone with a little bit of experience goes with someone new and they're excited to show them something.
Mhm.
That's how we should be trying to foster the class.
Perfect partners. Yeah.
Yep. So that's been
I was
pretty
training
good.
for you.
Training tonight was with Coach Taylor.
Okay.
I got to partner with Taylor for most of our drills, and then I trained with you a little bit. You
Yep.
did really good. You felt great in the
Thank
guard. I trained. Yeah, it was a fun session. Taylor's feeling really good. I think she trains really, really well. Right, she's a good performer in the gym.
Yeah.
She was saying that today.
Okay.
She's like, I wish I could have done that in my last tournament.
Yeah.
But everyone's different. Some
Everyone's
people,
different. You just gotta, there's no.
I think sometimes I feel like I suck in practice, and then I do well in the tournament.
Yeah, you are. You're a
Sometimes.
gamer
Yeah,
for
like
sure.
I'll be like, I just felt like really bad today. I didn't do that great. Or some days I'll feel really good in the gym, and then do terrible.
Yep.
It's the nature of the game.
No, yeah, I mean, like it comes down to the factor of like, does any of that really matter? Like,
Yeah.
you just do your, you do your thing.
Just performing the day of is
Yep.
all that matters. But yeah, I felt good. We had a good session. I think we're what are we? We have this week, just to talk right off the bat, because that's kind of what we're training for, right? We're finishing up these last couple weeks
Yep.
for 2024. So tomorrow will be November, right? Oh my God.
Jeez.
Wow. So we only have 2 months left to this year, and we're going to try to finish this year off with 2 good tournaments we have.
Yep.
This little Chew-Jitsu tournament, for anyone who knows Chew-Jitsu.
Yeah, it's a newer
What's his name?
local
Chewy?
idea.
Chewy.
Chewy. Yeah, I think it's Chewy Jitsu.
Chewy, which is, I'm sure he's got a podcast, almost guaranteed.
Gotta. Yeah.
He's like an internet personality, really cool, internet jiu-jitsu guy. I don't know. Maybe he probably has a school, I'm sure. I don't really know him that well, to be honest, but I know a lot of people love him.
Yeah.
Because I'll have people, you remember like Big Nick?
Yep.
He would be coming in all the time. I remember
You know what Chewy said?
Bob Cano would always
Okay.
be coming in with jiu-jitsu shirts and stuff.
That's awesome.
So like a lot of their first exposure to jiu-jitsu was through this guy, and I think he started his own, it's like a Chew-Jitsu Open. This is a submission only tournament. So we have that this weekend. Myself, you, Andre's competing, Adrian's competing.
Nice.
Anyone else? Jesse.
Jesse's
Competing. So we have 5
Dog.
people. Dog.
Jesse's always out there. Yep.
He's ready to go. So we have 5 people going to that, and then the next weekend after that is like our final. It's kind of like our finale for the year. That's my mindset
For the travel trip, yep.
for the travel of 2024. So we'll probably stay off of the road in December, and we're going to Miami.
Going to Miami.
Is that a song?
I think so.
Is that Will Smith?
Maybe.
Don't bring him up around here. Keep your name out someone's mouth.
Don't lose your hair over it, Joe.
Oh my God. Can you imagine?
So we're going to Miami, traveling, bringing a big team, probably like 8
Pretty
guys.
Good. Yeah, I think so.
Yep. So we
That'll
got
be a
that all
really fun
planned.
one.
Yeah, it's a good way to wrap up the year. I think a lot of us are a little like competing. We feel a little like run down
Oh my God.
mentally, physically, but you gotta. I think that's a great way to wrap up the year is to find that last one and finish it strong.
And it's Miami, so it's like a fun. Hopefully, it's a fun trip. You know, like going to Miami as a way of ending the year. I think for me at least sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
Today is like the first kind of cold day. It's a little windy here.
Yeah, we need it.
I think this next 2 weeks might be a little chilly. It'll motivate us to get out there,
Get out in the sun.
get a little sun. Hopefully, we come back feeling good, ready to finish off the year. But speaking of kind of like burning out and stuff, let's go over what we've been missed. What have we been missing?
We missed a lot of
We
stuff.
missed a lot of stuff since the last time we did a show. The last show we did was all about
Us
Vegas.
coming back from Vegas, the ADCC Open out in Chicago. Out in Vegas.
that was Vegas,
that was a big one for us. We brought a.
Did we talk about that? We did.
We talked about that with Sean. So moderately big team out there, but then we went to Chicago. We did the ADCC Open there.
This was a big one. I feel like we really, just like the year previous, we like focused on it, right? We trained hard for that event.
We focused
which was
on
fun.
it. We had it's talk about like accomplishing goals.
Yeah.
Me and Joey in the beginning of the year said we wanted to get in the top 10 for team rankings of the ADCC Open. And right away in the beginning of the year, we were like 3rd.
Right.
And so we were like, man, we gotta challenge ourselves a little bit more. So then the idea was we needed to be ranked in another state. We did that as well, I believe.
Yeah.
And then we wanted to get first, and we accomplished that as
For
Chicago.
Chicago.
Open.
Yeah. So like last year, 2023, we took 3rd place as a team without really trying that much. I mean, we tried. Obviously, we brought a good team and we did the best we could, but we definitely could have done better. I believe a lot of us, we had a lot of people who didn't get to perform who would have been great. And then this year we did the same thing. We kind of like pushed it. We were excited for people. A lot of people came, and we still had some other people who could have joined us who didn't get the chance to, just from a scheduling standpoint. But as a team, we accomplished our goal and we got 1st place.
Amazing.
It was pretty great, man. I had fun. It was one of your best showings.
Yeah, I did good. It was. Honestly, it was the.
I honestly cannot think back to all them. There's so many matches.
There's so many matches of people.
For us to try to recap it would be insane. We have to pull it up.
I would say for me, it was just a very nice experience. I had a rough year at the ADCC Opens.
Yeah, like
I was performing not well, and so it was nice to finally.
Maybe what we could do too, just for fun, we'll do a 2024 New Year's recap.
Cool.
Right, we kind of have to, right?
Yeah.
And like go over our stats and our fun stuff.
Yeah.
Our
We did that
favorite
last year.
we did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
we did that last
I think
year.
we should probably do that.
Cool.
But like at the same time, to kind of close out this major. It was a major event. I think that was like our biggest event for us, right?
Huge.
As a team.
If it wasn't, we made it.
Yeah,
it
it
was.
felt like it.
Yeah.
And to see you go from having those struggles physically on the road where Kyle was getting sick after, tough matches and then puking and all this stuff. And to see him, be able to have some good tough matches, body held up well, face some really good opponents, won some good matches. I think, what did you do? You go 3?
3-2? Yeah.
3-2, good tough matches, lost to good guys, beat some good guys. I think you should have been really proud of it, and hopefully it felt like a good accomplishment.
Yeah, kind of set me back in the right.
Didn't get the goal. The goal was placing, and I was confident that you could have done it. You could have taken. I think you could have definitely gotten top 3 in that division.
Totally agree.
I think that's a good. We get to set the goal.
Still have more goals. Yeah. It's nothing's ever good enough.
But it was a very. We should be happy about it.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be upset about that one.
Yeah. It was finally got something done. So
because if you would have started puking again, Kyle,
my goodness,
I think it would have been it. We would have definitely put the dog down.
Yeah, I remember. I think I even said to Joey, like after my first match, I had this moment where I was walking around afterwards. It was a good match. I think we went the whole 6 minutes. And then so like afterwards, I was walking. I was calming myself down, and I had I always tell people I got like 3 or 4 people talking in my head, and one of the people was just like, just go outside and puke once, you'll feel fine. And I was like, no. know.
Sometimes you got to yell at yourself.
Yep. So that was,
It's like a devil on his shoulder and then the angel on his shoulder.
Yep. So that was awesome. I had a lot of fun. You won a gold medal again?
I did want to get gold medal again.
It's becoming a little consistent.
I know, dude. I feel like and I don't want to say it like because I do have one more, so I got to go to work in Miami. But I feel like I've kind of accomplished a lot of my goals when it came to ADCC Opens. Because I went from this person who just kept taking third, third, not place one time. I was so sad and like, that was in
Long Beach.
In Long Beach, California. And I was one match away and tough matches and just upset. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to, kind of reinvigorate myself. And I think I've taken first every time I've gone from Dallas to Vegas, Chicago, Arizona. So I've had
Chicago twice.
Yeah, I've had a good string of first places, and this last one was fun. Chicago was a little smaller group, but
the competitors weren't smaller.
Yeah, we definitely got some stories, man. Yeah. Crazy stuff. I'll tell that story right away. It's it was wild because there was like a very small turnout throughout the the build up for it, right?
The whole sign up to it, yeah.
Sign up was I'm just thinking, man, it's like no one's signing up. So
and the main thing for me was so our main competition in terms of like winning it in terms of local schools would have been the 10th Planet Lombard School.
Because they took second last year and we took third.
And they got a big school. They bring a lot of people. They're very competitive. And I remember leading up to it looking, they only had like 7 competitors. Yeah. I was like, oh, this is going to be great.
And we had like 20 something, you know? So I'm like, all right, there's a good chance that we're going to take first. I was pretty confident in that. But then like the week of, they get like 40 more people. Yep. But they're all these Kyrgyzstani guys.
Wrestlers. And
Kyrgyzstan.
The Kyrgyzstani.
They get this like big influx of a bunch of guys who sign up in every division, like every single division for someone. So now they have probably more competitors than we had.
Yeah, I remember you told me at weigh-ins and you were like, nah, it's not looking good.
Yeah, I was like, man, it's not looking good. Because that's all it is. It's a game of medals, right? And then there's this in my division in particular. We're like looking at it. And I'm like, man, there's only one other guy signed up. I was like, Sergio, you're my weight. You're an intermediate. Why don't you just sign up in my division too? You and I, worst case, we go get a match together. We'll have some fun. But there's only 2 people, so you'll get a medal. Get some points on the board. You get some experience. Me and you can go have a fun match. It'd be great. So he's like, yeah. He signs up for it, and then the other kid drops out. So then for a moment, it's just me and Sergio. I was like, oh my god. And then before you know it, that day of, it becomes 2 other guys jump into our division. One bumped up,
and then one got kicked out of his other bracket, right?
Out. That's my understanding of it. He got kicked out of the beginner division because he smashed some guy, and they're like, "No way, you're not a beginner," and they throw him up to advance with us. That's what I understand of it. I don't know that for sure, but that's what I heard. So now there's 4 people, right? And this one kid's really good. I forget his name. Super nice guy from Canada. Mm-hmm. He was ripping everyone's leg off in intermediate. He did really well. And then so him and Sergio go together, and Sergio gets leg locked by the guy, and good for Sergio. He's fighting his heart out there. I think he's motivated. I hope he's motivated for Miami. I hope he's putting in the work because he just needs that physical conditioning. Because remember, he's jumped up now. He's in the intermediate division. He was doing great in beginner. Now
the challenge resets.
I think, and it's the physical challenge. So he's doing okay. He's surviving, but that's all he's doing, right?
He fatigues a little bit, and then it gets rough.
If he's gonna have any success in the intermediate division, there's got to be a rehaul of his physicality. So that's hopefully, and he's been working out really hard. I know he works out. Yeah, he's been at the gym all the time.
Oh, I love it.
He's going to Forge Fitness, working out. Oh, baby. So I'm excited to see the new Sergio in Miami.
Oh, man.
But we do this tournament. He loses to him, and I get to face this other guy who, I see. I'm like, who could it be? Like, who's at 60 kilograms? And I see this other guy with
and then a giant 80-kilogram guy walks out.
This big dude with a giant beard, and just thick ass legs. And I was like, yeah, it's probably not him. It can't be him. It's probably one of his friends or something. And then the match starts and it's him. And I was like, whatever. All right. And I feel him. And at one point, I pulled guard on him, and I'm like pulling him in, and he's like, he doesn't speak English, and he's like ripping away from me, saying stuff. I'm just smiling at him and I'm pulling him in and I sweep him. At one point, I sweep him and like I get on top and I grab his leg and he kicked me in the chest. I was like, oh, okay, he's not 60 kilograms.
Yeah,
There's no
he's
fucking
so
way
strong. Yeah.
that guy is if he's 60 kilograms, I'm done grappling. He was just so big. His legs were just huge.
Like I would have had a rough time dealing with him.
I think you wouldn't. I don't think you would.
Strong guy.
I think you'd just be like, oh, this guy's my weight.
Yeah, it's my weight.
Yeah, he just feels like he was just a short, stocky dude.
Yep.
But he wasn't good. He wasn't like, so that's the issue. Of course, if he was really good, that'd be like you just going into my division.
Yeah.
He's not a black belt. He's not that guy. He's a good wrestler.
Yep.
So, then again, I get on top of him again, same move, just a simple, I pull myself under, grab both legs, and he falls over. And I just realized, I just can't let him put his feet on me because he'll kick me away. He's just too strong. So I just like smother, and I pass his guard, take his back. And I remember just being so like kind of upset that when he kicked me away. So when I get my arms around, I literally I squeezed him like I've never squeezed someone.
Yeah.
Like I got my arm in his neck, like and his mouth, and I just squeeze, and I feel his chin popping, and I was like, all right, you're too big for this division. Get out of here.
Be squeezed.
And we found out later, right? And this was something that was told to me by his coach. You came up and apologized, and I guess there was just a bunch of shenanigans going on with that group of people.
Yeah, they
right?
all.
I don't know the story. Can't say for sure who, and neither did he. It's like we can't say for sure.
We'll bring Ian on the podcast. He'll talk shit for us. Yeah,
but supposedly there was some people weighing in for each other and some lies about weights, and that's. I mean, we all know it's that easy to do.
Yep.
We all know it. We're just all not pieces of shit.
Yeah, we've all joked about it before, but like literally the biggest joke. I would never do that.
I would never do it. Like I could have TJ for sure weigh in for me anytime.
Easily.
He could use my phone if he needed to. Oftentimes they don't even ask.
Yep.
They just say, "What's your name?" and they just let you weigh in. So it's kind of an honor system. And there's no honor.
And we got honor.
Yeah.
Cut you off from saying.
Yeah. It was fun, man. I loved it. And then I ended up taking first for that division. We had a lot of really great stories, if I can remember them. Like Ian, too, was a fun story.
So intense.
Just so many good matches. Tough, scrappy matches. I think he took home a third.
Yep.
We had a lot of really good, Adrian took home a second, was destined for first place, and had a mistake in the finals, which I was happy for him. For how it all turned out.
I always say to people is like, it's sounds horrible to say as a coach, but like when people,
I was happy for him.
When people win a bunch and have one loss, it's almost better. Yeah. It's like, it's so motivating for them,
Yeah, it made it special. Instead of him walking through people, he was legitimately walking through a lot of people. Technically, he was so good. Ready for his blue belt.
He's got a nice style to him. He's just yeah, he's got nice like swag and stuff.
Oh yeah, he's so confident. I love it. So he's going to be exciting to watch him compete this weekend. I'm pumped for it. Yeah. He's excited because he's not cutting weight.
Good. He'll have energy. He'll be scary.
Yeah, he's going to be great. Zach was a big storyline for me.
Zach was huge. Did. Yeah, I mean,
who also him, Adrian. We could talk about the blue belt promotion too.
Yeah.
We should probably have Zach on. Would be great. We should.
Let's do Zach. We'll talk about the blue belts.
Try to get Zach on here if you're listening, Zach.
Yeah. So Zach had a really good. Zach had a bunch of really good matches, and then in his fourth place match, he went against this guy who was just a physical specimen.
Was that Santiago's guy?
Yeah, we've seen this guy compete against. He just mauls people physically, and Zach caught him in a nice leg lock and tapped him. It was very, very impressive. Super smooth.
Who else placed? Do you remember?
Louis got a.
Oh yeah, Louis took a gold.
Yep.
Louis, what a cool story too. Our boy Louis Gonzalez from the barracks. He really wanted to be involved in the team getting first place. When I told him that was the goal, he was all in about it, and he was so excited to be a part of it. So when he signed up for it, he had I'll tell him. He had a pretty bad rib injury. He popped his ribs wrestling with his brother. Like a week before, or maybe 2 weeks before, or something like that. And, he told me as long as I'm on top, everything's okay. But, like even if his wife got on top, like to, pass his guard, he'd have to tap out.
So then he just
I was like, you're about to roll with like some heavy weights and he's tough, man. He had to do the advanced division and he smashed through everyone. He's a special athlete for sure. You can tell, when people are just
too
legitimate
good.
athletes.
Yeah.
So that was really great. We had a bunch
Colton
of
got a second. That was cool.
Oh yeah, Colton got to face Abraham the Mountain.
Yep.
Who's a pretty popular grappler, good grappler, wins all like everything. He wins all the ADCC Opens right now. and Colton did really well. I was happy with it. It's good to see for him to get into that deep end of the talent pool and feel it. That's what I want for him. I want him to get these matches in. I'd rather him do that than just keep winning these intermediate divisions.
Just smashing people,
right?
yeah.
You know?
Joel won a silver.
Oh yeah, Joel, young man Joel, who, by the way, we can also say young man Joel, shout out to him. He had his first novice MMA fights over the weekend, just last weekend.
Little pancreation fights.
You know, it's no punches to the head, but it's punches to the body. And Joel just loves MMA. I'm so excited for him.
I think he's very lucky that that's like a. I mean, did you get to do that? That wasn't a thing, right?
Didn't exist. I mean, I guess it always existed, but it wasn't popular. There wasn't any outlets for it. So, you know, by the time I turned 18, I was already just doing exactly MMA.
Fights. Yeah.
The only difference is you couldn't elbow.
You could knee?
Amateur. You could knee the head. I think they took that out later, but you couldn't elbow.
Okay.
No elbows, and then pros you could elbow.
Okay.
That was what I remember
was the rule?
being the difference. But we still wore the same gloves, no shin pads, nothing. It was no different, and you didn't get paid.
Man,
I mean, I fought for
lucky
free.
Joel.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so crazy. But yeah, so Joel, I'm so excited for him. He's gonna be an animal, man. He's a great kid.
Got a really nice
even
future.
today, like it's Halloween, he came in with his costume on, and then he changed up, rolled, put his costume back on, and left.
Probably going to a party with his high school friends. Yeah.
He's great, man.
He was telling us Spanish
I don't
jokes.
even know if he's in high school yet. He just turned 14, right? He's in 8th grade. He's 13. He was
That's
just
wild,
turned 14.
dude.
I'm pretty
That's
sure he's in
wild.
8th grade, right?
That's wild.
He's an animal. Kid's way tougher than I was when I was in. Oh my god,
He's a man.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's gonna be great. What else? Anything else from Chicago? Any other just overall ideas? If we're missing someone, we're sorry. We're kind of tired. We're just.
Yeah, there's so
We
many.
should have wrote this down, but
there was. I think we had literally like 30 competitors. So I mean, so many different people that competed. I can think of like Brad, Aaron,
truly,
Katie.
Brad was a great one too, right?
TJ. I mean,
TJ story. We need TJ story.
yeah, I mean, just so many different performances.
For anyone who doesn't know, TJ ended up taking a gold medal in the adult advanced division.
Yep.
I think he was so. Oh man, he was just so happy, right?
He was so happy. So he went on the
beat an adult.
Yeah, he went on the kids divisions and he did good.
He did good, but those are just some tough kids.
Some tough
being
kids,
honest.
and like I think like stylistic matchups. There's things he could clean up that he will then he will maul those kids instead of losing close matches.
Right. And size wise, like, and not that he was bigger than the adult kid, but
the adult was his size. It was just perfect.
Was more his size than the kids were.
Mm-hmm.
The kids were even bigger. Bigger than him.
But then I remember I was watching the first adult match. I was coaching someone else, so I was watching it from around the match, and then I actually coached him for the second one because it was best of 3 against that guy.
Yeah.
And the first one, it felt like he was like didn't know how he would do, so he was playing a little defensive. Then halfway through the match, he felt like, oh, I can deal with this guy. And
Before the match, I could tell he's like, oh, my elbows hurt. He kind of has that thing whenever he loses. He got like everything's.
He was nervous
hurt.
the day before too.
Well, yeah, and like that match, going into the adult one, he was just like, I could tell wanted to pull out a little bit, and I was just like, just go out there, man. Who cares? Maybe he's really good. Just go. Just don't get hurt. Just go have some fun. Worst case, what? You just go get tapped out. It's all good.
Yep.
And like that, he's like, okay, yeah. He's like, yeah, I'll just go out there and I'll just do my best.
Yep.
And then like as soon as he felt the guy, he's like, oh, I can actually beat him.
Yep.
This kid's not tougher than me.
Yep.
Like that guy, like we roll with TJ.
He came out here and grabbed me today, and I was like, jeez.
Yeah, he's tough. TJ can beat anyone, man.
Yep.
If he's confident in the right place. How's my witch's hat look, by the way?
I mean,
Is it floppy?
immaculate.
I hope it's standing up.
Well, I mean, not the whole time.
No? Does it fall down? There you go.
Your libido ain't what it used
I
to be,
know,
Joe.
man. I'm an old man. Go get me what's that called? Viagra?
Yeah, there you go.
For the hat?
I don't know about that.
That's all. Yeah. Kyle's been popping
Since I was 12.
pills.
Yeah.
So he did great with that adult. I thought that was the coolest thing
Oh,
ever.
yeah,
We're all celebrating for him. You could tell.
He footlocked him in the second match, and I went crazy.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
me,
How badass.
When I
It
see a
was-
good footlock, I go nuts.
It was great, man. So much fun. And he's excited for Miami. He's going to Miami. You know that, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was so funny when he brought it up to me. He's like, "You guys go to Miami?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I think I might go."
Yeah, he's hooked on it now. I think he got a little taste of that gold.
Yep.
It's addicting,
I mean,
He's got
just
that moment.
Yeah, it's got to be so. I mean, I can't even really relate to it. It's got to be a very weird feeling to like be so young and beating adults, and
Yeah, I mean, he's got way more gold medals than you do.
Oh,
in
hey
ADCC.
man, way more. He's fucking
By
clowning
one.
me, that kid.
in the advanced division.
God damn.
how
God
great.
damn,
I love
TJ.
it. What a legend.
So awesome.
Anything else from ADCC Chicago?
I mean, there's definitely got to be more guys.
I liked saying Brad too. Brad had some really great performances. He's someone who I really believe in terms of skill and I think learning wise, learning how to compete is just where he's at right now.
I think learning how to compete, I think you get a little confidence. So that was something that was crazy, surprising to me. Was after the tournament, the way he talked to me was like, I said like he had a very like that defeatist person in my head. I really related to it. He's like, yeah, I did good, but the next guy I was going to have to go against if I would have won. I know I couldn't beat that guy. And I'm like, what are you talking about, Brad? You could beat that guy. You're good, man. Like, yeah. So
yeah, that's something I've worked on for myself so much that that doesn't really exist anymore. It's not there. There's no voice in my head. There's nothing that's saying like, oh, you can't win.
That's good.
It's just that doesn't exist. It really doesn't. I have moments. It's just not about someone else. I have moments where I'm like, I'm not very good.
Mm-hmm.
That's a different enemy that you have to fight.
Yeah.
But like that I don't look at people. There's no one in the world that I'm like, oh, that guy's too good.
Yes.
It doesn't exist anymore.
That's good.
I think I used to feel that way. I was thinking about like, oh, what are they gonna do?
Yeah.
I just have,
It's about how I perform.
If I don't do well, I'm very upset with myself, and then I get down on myself, and it's hard to get out of that.
Yeah.
But I think there's like it's like an enemy. There's like a bunch of different enemies in your head.
Yep.
One of them is like your, I guess you wouldn't say jealousy of other people, but you're like
it's more of like not jealousy.
Opponents.
It's like appreciation. For me, it's like it used to be like
they're so good. You think you over respect people.
Yeah.
Like over respect people. Then you have some people who under respect people, and like they're like, no one's like, I'll beat him, and then like, oh shit, that guy was better than I thought.
Yeah, I know I never do that.
Yeah.
I
always assume everyone's really good,
and I used to that
healthy respect.
That always worked very well for me. Of like overestimating people to then be like, I know I'm gonna try my hardest. I'm gonna do everything I can to.
Yeah, I think that's the better route. Like respecting everyone's skill, even if you really probably didn't need to.
Yes. Well, I mean, I heard it once. So the idea of like, why would you ever assume you're better than somebody? The only thing that could do is make you perform less. Yeah.
Train
less or work out less. It could only be a positive and not only, but it will be a positive if you think the person's better for you and it makes you train harder.
Well, maybe it just depends on the person though, right? So those people who do build up the person too much to the point where
they're crushed by it.
That might be better to get that little bit of like a healthy arrogance of like,
screw them.
Fuck them.
Yep.
They're not shit.
Yeah.
But that's a balance
to each person.
Yeah, and my big thing has been just figuring out how I can have belief in myself and like truly believe that I am the best in the world. Like if you really believe in that, you can say it all you want, but do you actually believe it? And I think that's something that grows with experience. The more I actually go out there and I beat people and I feel myself, I do believe it then.
Yeah.
So it's you can't trick yourself.
You don't have to talk yourself into it. You felt it.
You can't trick yourself into believing it. It's like now once that snowball starts happening, you really start to believe it. And then how do I slowly kind of extinguish some of the doubt that I have?
Yeah.
Because there is still doubt always. I'm always like, man, this hurts. I'm like, maybe I'm not in great shape.
Yep.
I don't feel strong. Whatever it is, that there's these doubts that I try to I really just try to silence them.
And we can eliminate a lot of that through training.
Yeah.
Too, right? Like that.
Well, hopefully, right? But, I train hard, but like, man, some days I can't train very hard. I got injuries, I get things. And I'm not going to be the person who relies on being in perfect condition.
Yep.
If that was the case, I would
never compete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're let's be honest, Cal. We haven't been doing our job. Like we talked about it on the podcast, I'm sure. Like we did a great job for a while, but I've fallen off the consistency of lifting for sure. This travel's just been crazy.
It's hard.
So hard. And obviously we all are always training. To the average schmo, we are in great shape.
Yep.
But I do feel like it's just that gets in my head. If I talk about doubt, where doubt creeps in is those moments where I'm like, man,
I lifted no weights this month.
Yeah, I wish I was consistent here or there. I eat like shit, this or whatever. All these little things, they add up and it becomes that mountain that I'm just trying to starve it out and like not buy into the fact that I have these doubts because what does it help me?
No positive.
Yeah, it doesn't help me. And I know that I'm strong enough to believe in my abilities. And that's all it is, man. You just, you have to believe in yourself more than you doubt yourself. And if you do that, you always have a shot. Because even, you're going to win or lose.
Yep. You just got to do it.
But I promise you'll do better if you believe in yourself and you don't doubt yourself.
100%.
And you will do worse if you doubt yourself more than you believe in yourself.
You're fighting multiple people if you doubt yourself.
Yeah. So it's, some bit of advice is for us. Throwing that out there on the podcast. Bit of advice for my friends who like to compete. It's really made a big difference in me. And I wish I could go back in time and I would have had this, this thing in my brain that I've had the last year or so, which was just this idea of really trying to feed my belief and be a little bit more careful about my doubts and not like let them creep in the unwanted times. Doubt is important. You got to have a certain level of doubt, like you're saying about like motivating yourself. It's almost like it's part of the fuel, but it needs to be like cautioned and controlled. And same thing with belief. Like you overbelieve yourself. Now you're confident. You're arrogant. You're cocky. And you got to not, you got to balance that. So that's all it is, man. If I would have learned that earlier, I think I would have done better in my MMA life. And, but I'm excited. I feel like we're just getting started. 2025 is going to be a great year too. I have my own personal goals.
Yep.
If there's nothing else about Chicago, we can talk about the World Championships.
Yeah,
what do you think? Anything else for Chicago?
No, I think Chicago. I think we gave it.
Congratulations to our team.
Yep. Shout out to everyone who won medals.
I'm proud of what we accomplished. I'm proud of you as a coach.
Appreciate you as well, man.
You did a really good job. You were running around like crazy while still competing. I feel like we do that pretty as well as anyone could possibly do.
Oh yeah.
Because we have 0 designated coaches.
No.
We are athlete coaches, and that's rare.
Yep.
Any other schools really do what we're doing?
No. I mean, they're. I don't see it. Maybe some of the B team guys, but they don't. When it's their match, they don't. I mean, I was going to say some of the Danaher guys, but when it's their match, they don't care about the other person.
Yeah. So it's not easy. I'll tell you. It's talking about fatigue. It's just tough. It's a hard thing to do.
It's hard to stand there all day, and
we do it, and I love it deep down inside. It's enjoyable.
Yeah, I really do.
I get so excited. Like I was coaching. I think I was coaching TJ. And then I got called to go do my match.
Yep.
And I was like, all right,
it's so
rip my shirt off.
That was what was happening for me. Is like the way it went is like my span of how long I competed was like a 6-hour stretch. Like I did a couple matches and then like I was just running around coaching and then I'm like I'm up again and then
no one truly who hasn't been in those scenarios they can't really truly appreciate how difficult that stuff is mentally and physically. Because most people never they imagine like, oh, you just go do a tournament. Yeah, that must be tough. Like you just go do 3 matches. But it's not just go doing 3 matches. We're there from 8 a.m. You weigh in, check everyone, help everyone. Coach. Oh, maybe you're going to go warm up a little bit. Nope, you're not going to go. Okay, go coach some more. Okay, do 1 match. Okay, go coach some people. Then come back, be ready because you're going to do a match again.
But then you coach in a test match. Someone loses, they're crying. You're dealing with their emotions. Then you got to go compete. Yeah,
Yeah, it's tough. But it's part of the fun for us. If there's nothing else about Chicago. So I had a really fun experience a couple weeks ago, right? When was that? October?
I would say 2 weeks
beginning of October. I went out. I did a trip. This is something that was built up throughout the year. It was actually Giuseppe Lamano's kind of the reason behind it. Yep. He told us to go try out for this USA grappling team. Myself, Kyle, Ian, we all went out to the qualifiers in St. Louis, and that was a year ago.
Yeah.
That was November last year, right?
Yep.
Right around this time.
That was like the last thing we did for last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the closeout last year.
It was so much fun. I went out there and I got a match. I won. So then I got invited to the trials. And the trials were in June.
Yep.
I think we've talked about that probably on the podcast. Maybe not.
Yep, we did.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I ended up winning that, taking first place, which then gave me. They did pay me, by the way. They gave me the money.
Nice.
And the check in the mail.
Good.
Which they paid for my trip and my my room and board and all that fun stuff for a trip to Kazakhstan to do the World Championships. And this is the UWW. For those who are familiar with that, if you follow wrestling right now, they just had the Wrestling World Championships are going on right now. I think it was this weekend or last weekend. So UWW is huge. It's it's an Olympic committee. So this rule set that they're doing, it's different than IBJJF. It's not really a jiu-jitsu tournament. It's technically a submission wrestling tournament, grappling tournament they call it. And I love it. It's like I honestly believe it's the best rule set.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a big statement, but I just believe in it. It was a really fun being there live, watching it. most enjoyable thing I could imagine for someone who doesn't really know that
Really?
much. Yeah,
Okay.
it's just so exciting. As much as I love ADCC
Yep.
to compete in, but I don't believe it's the most exciting for
Spectators. Okay.
Right? If we're thinking about the World Championships being there live, the 20-minute
boring.
rounds
Yep.
with a 40-minute round,
Mhm.
a 40-minute match. Good, you
Yeah.
can't do that in the Olympics. You can't do
Yeah.
it. So I'm trying to think of like long term what works. The 5-minute goes and the action of the matches are just so fast paced. It was
A lot
very
of scoring.
so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
Really enjoyable to watch, and to compete in, it's a different kind of rule set. It's like it keeps you motivated to be on top. It keeps you motivated to keep moving. Successful techniques are really the only thing that matters. If you're not being successful, you're stalling.
Yep.
So it's like, man, it keeps you're like, oh shit, I
Gotta
gotta do
move.
stuff. Really fun. I had a great experience. The negatives were, I think I underestimated international competition. I've never done it. Like I underestimated how difficult it would be to travel and then like feel
Yeah.
good. So I felt like shit. I didn't plan well. I didn't pack well. Didn't have any supplements. I
was telling
didn't
you
have
for a week
anything
to
with me. I packed like the day of. I was just not prepared. But I had a great time. But my first match, I was so sick. I got really sick the week of. No excuses about it. I'd still just lost, but I felt like shit. My eye was swollen shut, like 3 days before my match, and the day of my first match, my eye like barely opened.
Yep.
And I'm warming up with my friend Isaac, who was the 66 kilogram guy. He's awesome, super tough. And like we're drilling, and he like slid by and like just bumped my eye, and I was like, all right, good warm up. I
It's
kind
swollen
of
again.
it just hurt so bad. It was just an infected eye, and like every time it touched it, it hurt to like open my eye, look to the left or right. By the next day when I competed in the gi, it felt like decent. I could move my eyeball around, and like little shit like that. It's nothing new. It's just something you always deal with, little injuries, little stuff. So I was very disappointed in my first performance because it's one and done. I went out there and I lost to this guy from Ukraine.
Close match.
Close match. I should have won. I felt good. I felt very confident that I was a better grappler, which is goes back to what we were talking about. Like it's really just more upsetting when you don't perform to the best of your ability.
Yeah.
I don't mind losing to someone better than me or someone beats me. Like it feels very respectable, and I'm okay with it. Like I learned from that.
Yeah.
But when you feel like you didn't do the best job you could have, it's really hard to swallow sometimes for a good competitor.
Yeah.
And that was definitely the case. So, I felt very motivated knowing, luckily, I won both for the trials. I got to do both the gi and no gi. So then the next day was gi. And I just knew, like, just like I felt the first time we went to,
Here we go.
to California.
Yep.
When I was like, there's no way we're going home with nothing.
I'm getting
I'm not
something.
going to go home with nothing. I'm not going to come home with just this green hat for Kyle. So I ended up, winning a couple good matches, tough matches. I lost to one guy who I felt like he deserved it. He beat me with some good tricks, and he was talented, and came home with a third place, which it was very special. But again, this is are we going to hit something? Let's see it. Let's hear it. I don't know which one. We're back, baby.
We're back. The podcast is living.
Back.
Big.
We are back.
Yeah, so Joey went to Astana, Kazakhstan, and
Yeah.
came home with a silver medal. So very
A
impressive.
bronze medal.
Bronze
I
medal.
wish.
Oh, man. Bronze
Honestly,
medal.
they say bronze is better than silver.
Hey, bronze is,
That's what
hey.
they say, but I
Hey.
still would rather take the silver.
Hey, pennies
You know
are
what
awesome.
Right? They say the bronze medalist is always happier than the silver medalist.
You won. You ended on a
Because you
win.
end on a win, right?
Yeah.
So it does have that feeling, but still, man, second is higher than third.
Yeah. First loser. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
so
you did amazing,
but,
dude.
So we felt this way in 2023 when we started doing our opens.
Mhm.
I was like getting third.
Yeah.
And I was like fucking motivated. I was like,
Yeah.
nah, I can't.
Now you
I
get
want-
first.
And now I'm getting first consistently, and I feel that way about the opens. I kind of like feel like I understand that game well. This is like a whole new exciting chapter.
Yeah.
So I'm super motivated. 2025, I have one big major goal. I can say it right now. Like from the beginning, is I want a gold medal. I'm gonna do everything I can in my power. I'm gonna get a gold medal.
Well, then goal wise, I'll get on the team and join you.
That would be the big goal.
There we
too.
go.
If you can make the team, it'll be so much fun.
It'll be so much
It's
fun.
that's another goal for the team. Is I want to try to stack
Uh-huh.
the USA grappling team with our guys
May
because it's like such a. It was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had. And I feel like it's underappreciated, underrepresented. Not many people understand.
Oh,
what
it's
it
not
is.
big. It's not
I
big
posted about it and everyone's like, "Is that samba or is this this?
Uh-huh.
What is it?" It's like one of the coolest experiences I've ever had. To be able to represent America.
USA.
I never got to do anything
USA.
like that growing up. You know,
Yeah.
it's very special. I think the guys who are big into to wrestling, the
Yep.
guys who are bigger into the international scene of wrestling understand it.
Yeah.
And I never did. Like I wasn't into. I was into MMA and stuff. So
It's
like my
not a funny
brother
thing.
loves it. My brother just knew it was like, oh, that's a
Like
big deal.
you and me are not like at all very like nationalistic people.
Yeah, I
but
don't
like
think so.
when that kind of stuff happens, it almost like a joke, but it does kind of motivate you.
No,
Like, I
man.
represent my country,
I
baby.
really,
Like,
I had a moment. I felt it, you know, and like, yeah, you're right. Like I never.
we jokingly are U.S. You know,
Yeah, it's like, you know, it's fun, it's cute, and like, you know, not to get political or anything coming up.
Yep.
Elections coming up.
yeah, who you vote?
Yeah, not to get political about it, like, but like, you're right, Ed. I've never had that sense of like, oh man, I'm so proud
To
I'm
be
so
an
proud.
American, yeah.
You know, but the reality is, like, I am very proud of being an American. I'm proud of like the story of America. It's a great story.
You're proud to be
It's
an
amazing.
American.
I'm proud.
because at least you know you're free,
At least I know,
and you won't
I'm
forget the friends you
free.
got.
I really am, and I felt that for the first time in my life because I got to go somewhere in the world, and you can tell it's like there is there's a level of like, you know, being American. It was almost like a little bit of a target, and it felt that way. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Maybe we make it that way in our heads, and you know, but there was that feeling of like, you know, because now we've won 3 times in a row as a
Yeah.
team, you know, as a country, and it's like, you know, you can feel that little bit of a target on your back of it, and like it actually made me more proud of being a part of it. Like I was like, okay, well, I want to do well.
Yeah.
I wanted to do well for the team instead of just for myself. And you know, at the end of the day, it's just a game. None of it matters. There's so many more important things in the world.
Yeah.
But that's like that's
I mean, a
what's-
few of them. There's a few more important things.
but that's what's so amazing about humans, that we do these things like the Olympics.
Mhm.
Like no matter what's going on in the world, the Olympics still
Yep.
goes on. How wild is that?
It's important, man.
But how wild is that? That
Yeah.
there's, you know, there can be wars going on and like real like problems, and we'll still find time to play. Literally, just go play some games with other people. It's what unites us as a
I
human
was just gonna
race.
say it makes us humanity. You literally stole the idea of me of
Yeah.
just like, can we all just come together and like let's see
play
who the
some games.
fastest person is in the world.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
like, and it's literally just games. Like,
Yeah.
and every single human in the world understands it.
Mm-hmm.
And grappling in particular is very.
hard to understand.
I know it's so easy to understand. In my opinion,
Yeah.
it's the most. You know, compared. Let's use basketball.
Yeah.
Right, and like some countries love basketball that you never would have thought. I mean, where was basketball invented? Probably in America,
Yeah.
right?
Maybe something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
I would imagine the peach ball thing was like a, you know.
Here's
remember the
a
peach
great example.
basket?
I remember one time being at Chili's and curling was on
Yeah.
TV, and
Very
my
Canadian,
parents were just
right?
like, "This is the stupidest thing in the world." But then I explained to them the rules of curling, and by the end, we're all like cheering, watching it. It's just like
Yeah.
if you don't know what's going on, you know, it's
But
very.
yeah, I guess you can learn anything,
Yep.
right? But my point is wrestling, grappling, fighting, all of that. Man, like in that area, so that's the building we went to in Astana, Kazakhstan, was designated for martial arts. It was called the Martial Arts Palace, where they only have wrestling and they do like kickboxing events there and stuff like that. But like, there's nothing like that around here.
Nope.
So like, wrestlers are like worshipped in Kazakhstan. They're very well respected,
Wow.
like how we would look at like a NFL player or
Okay.
you know what I mean? Like that's how wrestling is. So, you know, it's just cool to think that throughout the world, everywhere in the world, what you love, and like that kid I faced from Kazakhstan, who was really good. I know that kid has spent, what is he doing tonight? You know, I know it's a different time. It's probably
Yep.
12 hours ago, but 12 hours ago, I guarantee he was doing something very similar to us.
Yep.
He was on the mat, sweating
Yep.
with his friends, laughing, growing techniques, training hard. And like the same exact feeling that you and I had when we were just rolling, and like the challenges, like when you, like I was trying to pass your guard, like fuck, yeah,
Yep.
like this weird game that we all understand. Like he was doing the same thing on the other side of the world.
Yep.
To me, that's like the coolest
Amazing.
shit in the world.
Yeah.
So you know, I really did feel proud about it, to be able to go represent America. And
I'm proud of you, man.
yeah, thanks, man. And
Very cool.
So we have some good goals for 2025 because I do think it's gonna be special. My understanding is it's gonna be in Paris, France.
Who?
I don't know that for sure, but I heard that rumor. So that'd be pretty cool.
I mean, Kyle's gonna be in Paris.
Is that a song?
Yeah, I was going.
Is that a Kanye song?
Yeah, it's a Jay-Z, baby.
Jay-Z?
Kyle's
Even
a
better.
pig.
Kyle's in Paris and they're going bananas. Right?
Yep.
Okay, I knew what you were going with that. All right. Anything else that we should recap? So I feel like those are the two major events.
Those are the major ones. I mean, like it's funny to say that they were smaller ones because when we first started competing, these were the bigger ideas.
Right.
We had, I think, 4 people do Fight to Win. We had 4 or 5 people do double gold, and it's a cool thing to think that they're
not small, they're big.
Yeah, they're big.
Yeah,
And,
how fun
it's like
is that?
it's like I guess small in terms of the amount of people we brought, but
Right.
big in terms of the show. It's a show with selling tickets, and we had the opportunity
really
to make
hope-
money, and
I hope that grows. I hope
it
that
was-
Fight to Win gets back to its old form of feeling big.
it really was a
It didn't
big.
feel that way, did it?
Yeah, I
felt weird.
in multiple ways. So I don't like, and I mean
We want to
this-
say positive things. We
Yeah,
love.
I
we
love Fight to Win, and I mean this in like in the best way.
Yeah.
But just the first few times I did it, it was the first time I ever got like paid as a grappler, and this time they very much just like gave everyone $40 for competing.
$40?
Yeah, and it was like I'm not going to complain.
I got like
'cause
$400
the first
time. I
the
did
first
it.
few, I think I was getting like $300-$400 every time I
Yeah.
competed, and this time like $40, and I was just like, oh, that's a little different. you
Well, they
know?
had like 100 matches. How many matches they have?
Yeah, and I think that was kind of the thing is they
Crazy.
just everyone sells a little bit of tickets, and so
Yeah.
but then
So I
double
hope
gold
it-
was great.
I hope it gets to its old form of like legitimate shows where
Yeah.
they're. I think that's what they were saying too that they want to do. They're going to get back to that.
And
is
I'll
like
just-
promoting it better because it was like weirdly rushed. It felt weird.
Yes, and
So-
I just really so a big thing for me is just it gave me a weird like super positive feeling when Colton did a double gold match and he lost, but he got performance of the night and they gave him like some
Gave him,
money.
I think $200.
And he just posted and he put like first time getting paid to compete, and like the way he posted it, if Colton would have got given $10 and a T-shirt, he would have posted that too. But it was just like the start of the right path. He
Yeah.
wants to do something really special, and that is one of the first things is getting people to give you money to do
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah, so rare in our sport of this goofy thing of
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu is almost always you're spending about that same amount
I've probably got paid $300 my whole career. Yeah,
altogether.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah,
I was gonna say that's really good.
Yeah.
No, we've definitely spent way more than that.
Oh yeah. Spending.
Yeah,
we burned.
we've spent a lot to do this crazy thing.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of it, but like someone like Colton who has some goals and we're here to help him. It's another, I think I said it to you guys a couple days ago, but another good goal is just, these are things I'm sure we'll talk about at the end of the year podcast of
Yep.
like 2025 goals, but is to really help in the management side of it, almost
Yes.
as like a management, for athletes. Like I want to do well to help, people like Colton and people who actually see this as a viable, option. Not that this is all they do. Obviously, Colton's got a job. They support themselves in other ways. But for us to try to help them get the sponsorship and the support they need.
That stuff, and even imagine too. Like I was thinking, you and me were talking about 2025. Going to be competing a bunch, but then also too we were going to have some like other stuff kind of going on. So like maybe we won't be traveling as much to compete. But imagine us being able to help people or like how
Organize,
Sergio's been
yeah.
doing it for us, like being able to send a team and
Oh,
say
man,
like
how great would that be?
obviously you're not paying for people, but like here's you guys all got an Airbnb, here's how
Yeah.
you do the flight and teach
Coordination.
Yeah, I mean that I've never had that,
So
people
that would
just
be the team management
Yeah.
side of it. Management, it's really I'm interested in it as an idea of us really consolidating our strength as a team and leveraging that towards sponsorships,
Yep.
financial viability of like travel, and that I think it would be something special. I think we're on our direction. We're heading in that direction. Now we just gotta kind of organize ourselves a little bit.
Yep.
So 2025, that's going to be a big goal for us. So anyone who's been competing with us, that's something to actually look forward to. I believe,
It's only going to get better.
yeah, and it's something that I believe that we're going to grow into. So, there's a lot of people who compete regularly. We can call them competitors, but they don't act like they are athletes.
Mhm.
And the difference between like, oh, I'm an athlete, I'm a competitor.
Yeah.
It's like, whether you're just doing this as a hobby or you're doing this from a career standpoint. I mean, that's such a spectrum.
Mhm.
And I really believe that some people are more of a a professional athlete than they even know, and they just don't know it yet. And that could be a fun job.
Carlos,
for us.
Adrian.
Oh yeah,
I'm just
There's
giving
so
you
many
guys a little
guys.
motivation. Melvin,
These guys,
Cambio.
I mean, they're studs. They could be so good.
Yep.
And the future is just so bright for grappling. Who knows, right? Who knows in the next 5 years how different it's going to be.
Mhm.
But the trends are certainly expressing that they're going to be a lot more opportunities.
Yes.
And I want us to be on that ground floor, building it for people. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Awesome.
Anything else, buddy?
No, big things 2025. We'll close out this year with a couple competitions. We'll take December off to kind of
This is a nice little 1 hour podcast.
Yeah.
How nice is that? Huh?
nice little reevaluation of the year. I
Yeah.
think we need to plan some sort of.
We're going to get back to interviewing. I want to get some more guests and get back into our Sunday kind of routine. I feel like that's our best bet.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of good crew of people to start bringing back in. And if anyone's interested in being on the podcast, you can message us. If you don't get a message back, you know where you stand with us.
Kyle saw it and said, nah.
Can't be on there. Sorry.
Just kidding.
Yeah. So,
all right, guys.
thanks to everyone for being such a big part of the team, competing. Thanks for keeping up with the podcast, and we will keep it rolling.
Peace. Adios. Happy Halloween.